Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Monday, January 31st. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amitha Sharma, in for Maya Trabulsi. Free health care for all. Many politicians make the promise. Well, moments ago in Sacramento, the state assembly scrapped taking a vote on a controversial new proposal called CalCare. Here's KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado with a look at what's at stake for the uninsured.
Proponents of AB 1400 say it would transform one of the costliest for-profit healthcare systems in the world. One they say often rejects life-saving medical care, even for those with insurance. It's estimated that over 250,000 people in San Diego and Imperial counties don't have health insurance. Rick Epps, a political science professor at Imperial Valley College, says it would provide coverage for the mostly minority population of uninsured and underinsured people in the state.
So we can at least provide a framework and a structure for that, as opposed to just, when they stumble into an emergency room somewhere and somebody has to take care of them, somebody's still writing the checks.
Dr. William Seng is the past president of the San Diego Medical Society and a board member of the California Medical Association. He says the system does need to change, but this bill should focus on the 7% of uninsured Californians.
I think the goal is really good, meaning the goal is really to get everybody covered, everybody to have that access to the insurance. And the governor has done quite a bit to close that gap. I think we're so close in getting the right direction. AB 1400 really isn't the way to go.
The cost of care would be paid by a single payer, the government, in the form of taxes. The latest estimates say that taxpayers would shell out over $365 billion per year. That's why the proposed bill would require a separate bill to be passed by voters to fund it. Dr. Seng says, costs aside, decisions would also be taken out of the hands of doctors and have unintended consequences.
If you love what you have now, there really is no assurance that you can keep what you have because the systems will not be there.
Epps says just because the vote was scrapped doesn't mean it won't be proposed again.
It's just too important as the baby boomers are aging and the rising cost of health care is leaving many people vulnerable, financially vulnerable, and their health is dependent on that. And then we have to do something.
Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
There's more optimism that the worst of the coronavirus pandemic may be ending. We just got the latest case numbers from San Diego County. More than 11,000 infections were reported over the past 3 days. With numbers still high but trending down, some question whether U.S. counties and cities should consider easing guidance on mask wearing or social distancing. But others warn not to relax restrictions too soon. Daryl Forges explains.
Some uplifting news in the fight against COVID-19. Positive COVID-19 cases going in the right direction, downward. Johns Hopkins University reports positive cases have gone down 30% from a week ago. Hospitalizations also down 11% from a week ago, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Some governors are ready to move on from the pandemic.
We need to move away from the pandemic, and we asked the president to help give us clear guidelines on how we can return to a greater state of normality.
Some states and cities are easing some restrictions. In Colorado, state public health officials removed the requirement that people must show proof of vaccination to attend public indoor events of more than 500 attendees in several counties, including Denver. San Francisco lifting mask mandates for the vaccinated for offices and gyms on Tuesday.
I certainly share the optimism that we're in a better place now, and we will be in a better place in a few weeks. But I don't think that means that we should take our foot off the accelerator.
On the vaccine front, Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine has received full approval from the FDA. And one expert says a vaccine for children under the age of 5 could be available by March.
And I'm hopeful that you could see some movement on trying to entertain that application earlier. Ultimately, the decision resides with FDA.
Daryl Forges, KPBS News.
Pfizer's vaccine was the first to receive full FDA approval. Both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines are considered mRNA vaccinations. A key difference in Moderna has never been approved or authorized for people under 18 years old. Pfizer's shot is fully approved for anyone 16 and older and authorized for people as young as 5 years old. No-cost COVID-19 rapid tests and N95 masks are now available in San Diego. KPBS health reporter Matt Hoffman has more on how best to use them.
Free N95 masks are arriving in San Diego. Not all pharmacies have them just yet, and the ones that do say they're going quick.
My recommendation at this time is really to, if you're getting it, go ahead and use it.
Dr. William Sang with Kaiser Permanente San Diego says in terms of facial coverings, N95 masks offer the best protection. They are used by hospital staff working directly with COVID patients, and they can prevent virus transmission as well as infection.
The best time to use it is really, again, during times where you know you're going to be exposed to COVID patients, and there's a crowded area, a lot of people.
Washing your hands before use and a tight fit is key, but how long can they be worn for? Sang says in a hospital setting, they go in the trash right away. He recommends not using one for more than 5 days, but says it's more about how long you wear it that really matters.
The duration of use is more important than the frequency, meaning, hey, if I just use it for a 5 minute, going out to the grocery or going out to do an errand, versus I wear it entire day.
In addition to the N95s, free rapid tests are available to be ordered through the Postal Service, and insurance reimbursements are now available for people who buy them.
I think it's a great thing because if you're able to detect the disease earlier, we can do something about it.
Sang says rapid tests are extremely effective if they're used within 7 days of symptoms starting. Something else to keep in mind when it comes to rapid tests, they do expire. For instance, I picked these ones up from a convenience store about 2 weeks ago, and they expire in February. While tools to prevent and detect the virus are more widespread, Sang says vaccination is still the best protector. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
Governor Newsom is moving to dismantle the nation's largest death row by moving all condemned inmates to other prisons. The move comes nearly 3 years after Newsom imposed a moratorium on executions. Correction officials had already begun a voluntary program to move condemned inmates to one of 7 prisons. They'll now look to make the transfers mandatory.
So those are 2 points on the death penalty. One, I think it's immoral. I think it's wrong. We did a moratorium, but the voters, the state of California, have advanced a principle of requiring that population to do work that they haven't been able to do the current facility, and that's why we're reimagining the future.
California, which last carried out an execution in 2006, is one of 28 states that maintain death rows, along with the U.S. government. Those who oppose the plan say Newsom is abusing his power and that it takes an important punishment option off the table. While temperatures may be dipping, the cost to crank up the heat is not. Many customers have noticed a hike in their SDGE bill, and they're not happy. KPBS reporter Tanya Thorne takes a look at the price hike.
Fallbrook resident Brenda Hudspeth used to receive an income-based discount on her SDGE bill, but this year she no longer qualifies for the discount.
It's pretty upsetting that I'm not eligible for a discount. My bill has literally tripled, and it's just me and my daughter.
Hudspeth and her daughter live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Previously, my bills were in the 30s and 40s, $30, $40 range, and my first bill in January was $88. And I went to my mailbox before I called you, or before you called me, and my bill this month is $98.
And she isn't alone. Residents countywide are seeing an increase in their gas and electric bills. SDGE did increase its rates as of January 1st. On its website, the utility says it's required to update energy pricing to reflect the cost of providing clean, safe, and reliable service to customers, and lists a number of factors prompting the increase, from a global rise in costs to wildfire mitigation efforts. In a statement, SDGE said, "We understand our customers' frustration with higher bills that are being impacted in part by higher natural gas prices seen globally and increased gas usage due to an unusually cold December. While there is never a good time to raise rates, SDGE is committed to working with customers."
Gas is obviously $4.50 a gallon, and rents have gone up, skyrocketed. Food is outrageous, right? And now my utilities have tripled, and I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling it right now.
SDGE says customers should log on to their account to make sure they are on the best plan and to see if they qualify for any assistance programs. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
While the future of monthly child tax credit payments remains in limbo on Capitol Hill, households with children should pay close attention to a letter from the IRS. Karen Kafer runs down what to know about last year's monthly child tax credit payments.
As tax season begins, millions of U.S. households with children are receiving IRS letter 6419, and experts say it's important.
It documents how many children the IRS is aware of that you have or dependents that qualify for the child tax credit, and it tells you how much payment the IRS made on your behalf throughout 2021.
From July through December 2021, the IRS says more than 36 million households received monthly advances on 2021 tax credits for children under age 17. The payments, part of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan signed by President Joe Biden last March. Caroline Bruckner, managing director of the KOGOD Tax Policy Center at American University, says this will require extra attention when you file your taxes.
In recognizing that this may be a little bit confusing, the IRS rolled out a new website, the childtaxcredit.gov website, where you can go to research how much you should have received, how much you did receive, and reconcile that letter with what you actually got.
The number on the letter should represent half of the amount to which a household was entitled. The other half can be claimed on a 2021 return. There were no payments in January 2022. The program expired with Biden's social safety net package mired in Senate gridlock.
We hear from families themselves that they said, the child tax credit is not nearly enough to sort of live on or give up their paid work for. What it does do is help them get to work, by making sure they can cover childcare expenses, put gas in the car.
Megan Curran of the Center on Poverty and Social Policy at the Columbia University School of Social Work says research showed the payments helped lower child poverty rates and child hunger.
The number one use of the child tax credit payments has been on food.
In addition to reviving the child tax payments for 2022, the stalled Biden Build Back Better bill wants to boost funding for the overstretched IRS. Without that, this tax season, Bruckner urges taxpayers to seek help early, especially with pandemic-era programs.
This has created just an extraordinary amount of work with fewer folks to actually do that work than at any other time, and this is also compounded by the reality of the pandemic.
The filing deadline for most taxpayers is Monday, April 18th. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafer.
Thousands of students are back on campus for in-person classes at UC San Diego. The school's winter quarter started weeks ago, but they delayed the in-person return in response to the surge in Omicron cases following the holidays. UCSD says since then, COVID cases have been dropping on campus. Students told our media partner 10 News that they're excited to get back into the classroom.
The 2 years since then, it's just been cautious optimism the whole way through. So hopefully this is the end of it.
The school has been testing wastewater and using rapid tests to try to track COVID more quickly. Masks are required on campus, and eligible students and staff must have their booster shots. Signatures are being collected right now for a proposed state ballot measure that could guarantee funding for the arts in all California public schools. Organizers have a goal of 1 million signatures by the May deadline. KPBS education reporter MG Perez brings us the story.
You're working in orange, monochromatic, and blue?
Yeah.
Max Swan is the art teacher here at the Creative Performing Media Arts Middle School in Claremont, best known as simply CPMA. It's one of the San Diego Unified School District's showcase campuses for theater, music, dance, and of course, the studio art classes taught by Mr. Swan, who started as a math teacher.
I got a math credential and an art credential, and then quickly found out how much they actually overlap and interconnect, and now I'm an art teacher.
We took a ruler and made straight.
Swan is passionate about his art as he conveys comfort and confidence to his 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Right now, the class is working on a group mural that will be displayed on campus. 13-year-old Michael Clark had never tried art until this year. He's a natural.
You can express yourself like in different ways. Like you can the colors can you can tell your moods in colors. Like you can see how you feel. Like how's your day going? You can express it by doing art.
The CPMA art class is an example of the creativity that has survived the COVID crisis and budget cuts. It's also an exception, even though the California Education Code mandates art education be offered to every student. Less than 1 in 5 public schools today have a full-time arts and music teacher. Enter former Los Angeles Unified Superintendent Austin Buettner, who is now leading the group Californians for Arts and Music Education in Public Schools. Buettner calls this his passion project to collect 1 million signatures by May 1st and get an arts funding measure on the November ballot. He wants to bring equity to the show business state.
We are that creative capital, not just in America, but really for the world. And that dichotomy between a robust creative industry and public schools which don't offer that same opportunity is what we're trying to address.
Buettner and his organizers are proposing voters direct the legislature to use at least $800 million if there's a state budget surplus like there is now to exclusively pay for arts programs in every public school with no option to defer the money elsewhere. It's a radical idea with some radical supporters.
You may know me as an actor, but when I was a teenager, I wanted to be an artist.
Emmy and Tony Award-winning actor John Lithgow is now the face of the California ballot measure to save the arts. He's pushing for signatures and will be pounding the pavement for votes if the measure makes it to November.
This is a time of tremendous divisiveness and political turmoil. Everybody's hot-headed on the subject of political issues. But the arts bring people together in all sorts of ways.
Use your good, powerful voice and go.
Back at CPMA Middle School, Kathy Hickman is coaching students in her Intro to Theater class. She's taught here for 20 years. She says she's often contributed her own money to support her students and hopes California voters will direct the state to do the same in November.
It would be nice to get the extra help in order to serve the community the way they deserve to be served, with all of the proper resources, things for building sets, all of our technology, and making sure that things are upgraded in an appropriate manner as well.
You have to be a crab. You can't be you.
6th graders Isabella Galindo and Zyariel Morgan are first-timers to the stage in Miss Hickman's class. They are also proud young ladies of color who want to see more artists who look like them.
Theater helps me, get less shy and be more confident in myself, and also I feel very proud of who I am when I'm acting.
Whatever obstacle life would throw at you, you don't stay down. You just keep going and get back up again. And that's why I want to be an actor, because of the challenge also.
Ballot organizers are depending on teachers, administrators, and parents to spread the word and deliver their signatures to the effort that could just bring more supplies and create more opportunities in classrooms just like these across the state.
Now I'm developing a beginning, intermediate, and advanced at our school, so it's only growing. Students are more interested, and we're seeing more art on campus.
It's a picture-perfect possibility, dependent on 1 million signatures to support the next generation of artists. MG Perez, KPBS News.
Great question, Danielle.
How does a 4-day work week sound? Riverside Congressman Mark Takano is pushing to reduce the current standard 40-hour work week to 32 hours, saying that the pandemic has highlighted the fact that most people spend more time at work and less time with loved ones. Proponents argue working from home saves gas costs, commute time, childcare expenses, and that productivity actually increases, and employees take fewer sick leave days and are generally happier. Many countries have already adopted the 4-day work week.
have a few cool days ahead as our winds remain onshore likely through the middle of the week, but winds will be turning more offshore for Wednesday, Thursday into Friday, and that'll allow the winds to pick up, but it'll also allow for some warmth to return later in the week. So that's good news moving forward. Temperatures tonight getting down into the 40s, 44 for you in Escondido, 40 degrees in Ramona, 47 in El Cajon. We're going to be looking at some chillier overnight temperatures later in the week, but during the day, it should get warmer. But Tuesday, again, you'll see that cooler push of air coming south out of the northwest as we have this cold front sliding southward. Looking at some clouds to linger near the coast as again that onshore flow continues on Tuesday. Temperatures getting up to 64 for you in Oceanside, 63 in San Diego, 70 degrees out towards Borrego Springs. And then as we look ahead to your Wednesday, here is that big dip in the jet stream with colder air really pouring southward. I don't think we're going to get the core of this colder air into Southern California, but it will be a little bit cooler here over the next couple of days before again we warm things up later in the week. Near the coast, temperatures low to mid 60s for you, but closer to 70 degrees by the time we get towards Friday and Saturday with more in the way of sunshine. You'll notice a good amount of cloud cover likely Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday with a little bit of mist early. Otherwise, more in the way of sunshine and again warming temperatures late week into the weekend. Further inland, temperatures low to mid 60s for you, maybe getting into the upper 60s there Friday and Saturday. Again, a little bit of cloud cover, maybe some mist possible early in the morning on Wednesday, and then we kick out the clouds and bring back the sunshine late week. In the mountains, temperatures could fall down into the 30s for highs on Wednesday and Thursday, but here too we rebound into the 40s Friday and 50s by the time we get into Saturday with again those breezy winds picking up. In the deserts, temperatures fall off into the low 60s Wednesday into Thursday. We'll be back up into the mid to upper 60s on Friday, Saturday back up in the 70s. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Jessica Pash.
Spotify is changing its rules in response to major artists leaving its platform. The streaming audio service is adding a content advisory to podcasts that discuss COVID-19. Spotify is under pressure because podcast host Joe Rogan has spread misleading information about vaccines. Rogan acknowledged the criticism in a video on Instagram and said he will do better in balancing the views shared by his guests.
If there's anything that I've done that I could do better is have more experts with differing opinions right after I have the controversial ones. I don't want to just show the contrary opinion to what the narrative is. I want to show all kinds of opinions.
Rogan's comments come after several artists followed Neil Young and Joni Mitchell and threatened to leave Spotify. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who have a podcast deal with the platform, are asking the company to, quote, meet the moment.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, why North Korea's most recent missile tests are worrying U.S. officials. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Willie Ohry, the first black player in the National Hockey League, will receive the Congressional Gold Medal. President Biden signed a bill today awarding the La Mesa resident the nation's highest civilian honor. Ohry broke the NHL's color barrier in 1958 playing with the Boston Bruins. He also spent 10 seasons playing with the San Diego Gulls. On Lunar New Year's Eve, a new mural was dedicated to the Vietnamese community in City Heights. As KPBS Speak City Heights reporter Jacob Ayers shows us, it celebrates the Year of the Tiger.
Lunar New Year is once again being celebrated in person after COVID-19 forced many events to go virtual in 2021. Outside of Ming Key Restaurant in City Heights, community members and leaders gathered to celebrate Lunar New Year, otherwise known as Tet to the Vietnamese community. Part of the festivities included the unveiling of a mural designed by Vietnamese artist Thao Nguyen French.
This is the most meaningful mural I've ever painted in my life. So I put 8 to 11-hour days in every single day for 8 days straight. So my hands feel like they're gonna fall off. My eyes are very tired, but my heart is so full.
Other cultural celebrations at the event included a lion dance performance, firecrackers, music, and gifts. Jean-Huy Tran is with Viet Vote. He helped to organize the event and says the message of the art matches the traits of this year's animal zodiac, the tiger.
Resilient is the theme of the mural. It's like we have been, our community survived through the pandemic. We survived through the, escaped the communists to come here, and we'll still survive. We're survivors.
French says the mural shows the strength of where she and her ancestors come from. She says the art carries extra meaning as she considers the neighborhood home, and there are increasing hate crimes against Asian Americans in the U.S.
Little Saigon is my home. I lived here for 10 years, and I've been eating at this restaurant for as long as I can remember. I order the same thing, so they know what I'm going to order as soon as I walk in. So it means a lot to me to show my art here and to make the community proud, to boost morale after a very hard couple of years, and to share the story of the Asian American experience.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher spoke at the event and made an announcement declaring January 31st as Viet Vote Day in San Diego County. Tran said he was surprised and excited about the announcement after co-founding the group in 2019. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us, and have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following: by viewers like you. Thank you.